afternoon and good day to each and every one of you. Welcome to Worn Worlds, Act of Repair in Threads of Peace in the wake of discard. So to all of us here in our venue, welcome, because this is truly a day of chances, because we are being given an opportunity of a lifetime to learn from none other than people who came from far away just to teach us about the beauty of their arts. Ayan. So I hope all of us are ready here. So, kamustahin muna natin. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? All right, because ladies and gentlemen, this is only day one of our festivities, because this is a day-long event. So hopefully you are all ready for what's to come. Ayan. So of course, before we go on and proceed with all of the things that we're about to learn, let us first seek guidance to our Lord Almighty. So may I request everyone to please stand for an invocation to be led by Mr. Abdul Karim Janalan, and of course, please remain standing as we sing our national anthem.
وقال ربكم ادعوني استجب لكم آمين يا رب العالمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. اللهم ربنا اغفر لنا ذنوبنا ولوالدينا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وادخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين. سبحانك ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Pilipinas. Kayang mag-ibig, kaya sa sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa likid mo'y buhay. Upang hinirang, kuya ka ng magiting, sa mandulupin, di ka pasisingil, sa nagagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit ang wagaw, ay hinatang kawin sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y nakumpay na nagtitindig. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pang ay di magtitindig. Luman ang araw ng buwan ating pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling ko. Aming ligaya ng pagkay mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
You may now be seated. All right. I see, buti na, alhamdulillah, because after such a wait, we could finally see that our venue is finally being filled by different audiences, all right? Because I'm sure all of you are excited to learn from our guests na nagbisita or bumibisita sa atin today. And of course, we're not only sharing these insights with you here and at the MCHC Amphitheater, because right now we're currently we currently have a live broadcast at the official pages of the Marion Cultural Heritage Center. So if unfortunately you cannot visit us here at MCHE, you may watch and learn from our visitors at the comfort of your homes. So of course, let's not delay this any longer, because alam kong excited na tayong mag-dive in sa lahat ng matututunan natin today. So of course, to present us the rationale and introduce to us the entire event, may we have an opening remarks from none other than the director of the Marion Cultural Heritage Center, Dr. Sorhaila Latib Yusuf.
Thank you very much, Faiza. Auzubillahiminasyaitanirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuhu. My courtesies to the individuals who are here today, especially our guests from the UKAI, the UKAI of New York. Kindly please give them a round of applause for joining us this week. We have various guests from this initiative, and also the team coming from, not just from New York, but also coming from the Philippines, and also the cultural bearers of other cultures are also with us today. Again, my courtesies to the individuals from the OIPP who are here with us, who are having us on live today. Thank you very much for having us on your live performances and live Facebook Live. And also our individuals from our officials and faculty members from the Communication and Media Studies. Thank you very much for being with us. My courtesies as well to my very ever-supportive husband who is here, the president of Sorhai, and also my darlings from Darangan. Thank you very much. And the beautiful gentlemen and ladies also of the Sining Pananadam who are here. Again, Jazakallahu khairan for being with us. And the ever-supportive Maranao Hijab CEO is over there. We also have the models from the Maranao Hijab. Para ko mga bangsami, ading babantay imanto. No, allow me please to speak in my language because we are now on live on MSU Maranao Cultural Heritage Center. And I would like the audience who are very enthusiastic about the Maranao culture to know more about what we are doing today. As a welcome remarks for everyone, we all know that Gyangkai Maranao Cultural Heritage Center na tinimutan no si iso mga bangsa tano ap kababayaan niran sumranaw agub kababayaan niran mambuop kugupan niran sumranaw. To translate that for our New York friends, this Maranao cultural heritage is actually made and created for the Maranaos and for those who love the Maranaos, including its culture and its people. And we are so thankful that our friends from New York, all the way from New York, they came here just to educate us more. We are educated because we are from a university, but to add up, to spice up. Bakalo-kalo na kaumanan sa mga suwatano, so tigiran na sa mga puun sa giyang kaaya mga pedaragat, ngaya mga peragatan na aya katawitan ron na di tanwiran tataguon sa nawa na aya titu na tataguon tanwiran si kung mga puso iran. In their hearts, they wanted to help. That's why they're here. So please, give them a round of applause for being with us today. They will be introduced to you one by one later. And also, for the rest of the week, we would love to introduce all of them to you. But again, aya isa pa na martano agu panalamatami kulang wana biya makaw may mantog yang kaya mga matarintes sa mga bae, mga raga, yang kaya mga makuranda, mga dato. Thank you very much for coming here, joining us, no, for this event. Uda kano, uda agyang kaya pagampaganay apa magpadaan tano sa agyang kaya alungan ni manto. The first that we will be having today is actually the fashion photography. Ino, amay na makapapasiw agyang kaya kamera tanor kano, nakilay niyo agyang kaya susulutan ng mga buwataan tanong si Isaranaw, no? Agyang kaya kataidiran, kapiyairan ni mga susulutan, kaantano sabuta, agyang kaya kipupuno ladang kiran sa upamana dita no kalipatan. Warm Worlds Explores, no? Giyang kaya ini title iranon, no? Warm Worlds. Isa, dita no may ilay, may inangka. Nagyang kay di itaya ka ang mga kusartano, no? If you are familiar with ukay, in the regular sense of the word ukay, no? Na antay mahilig siya mag-ukay-ukay. On live. Oh, di ba? Ang dami. You love that. Yes, I love that too. Because sometimes, especially to a person like me who is huge, I can find something from the ukay. But the One Worlds, put together by our friends and of course the Maranao Cultural Heritage Center with you, is actually there to explore the cultural, material, and emotional lives of second-hand clothing. Okay lang niyo si sagyanganan ang mga tuladan sa Leo, the exhibit that we will be launching on Friday, no? With your photos na, inshallah, okay? The winning photo for today will be part of the curation before we open on Friday, inshallah. It's actually something that we need to show to the world in order for us to understand where this imported used clothing is resold, reimagined, and refashioned. Because ukay, or the unearthing knowledge, arts, and interdependence, okay, made it a point that we need to understand how these things, or their initiative, the ukay initiative, would like us to show through exhibition and highlight how everyday materials discarded by the global north, okay, take on new significance in the hands of artists like you. Baka yung iba pa nga dyan, you found a very good blouse to turn it into something that you can embroider, right? So that's how they will be expressing their initiative through the curation and also through the photography sessions, embroidery sessions, and the arts forum that we will have in the next 4 days. No? So tomorrow is the embroidery and collaboration of embroidery of textile artists from New York, plus a cultural bearer from Panay, Bukidnon, with the Maranao Pangangantueras, no? And so we can put it on our embroidery, no? And then we put on top our antueras, and so they can understand also and have an exchange of how we do kapangantueras. And after that, we will be having the artists forum so that everyone can join us and explain how difficult it is, just like you guys, to become an artist. And in our individual selves, we have the artists in us. So may I just request them, because I am so proud that they're here, and I am so thankful that they're here with us and to, of course, share their knowledge. Let me start off with the founder and at the same time, the person behind all this. We met in a conference on global Philippine studies, and he didn't actually give it any second thought to come here and say, Atisor, we should really be doing a collaboration, because without making use of culture and appreciating how sustainable waste management can be done, then there is no point we are living in this world. So this is how enthusiastic he is. He co-leads the ukay initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen, just please give us a round of applause to Ezra Undag over there. Please stand. Yes. He is into sustainability in doing his urban sustainability course at the City College of New York, and also, mind you, a MSc1, because he graduated almost 10 years ago or more than 10 years ago from MSU IIT as information technology graduate, diba? So that's Ezra. And of course, a beautiful lady is with him who is also co-leading this initiative and having her PhD in social welfare at the Graduate Center of City University of New York. All right? And she has earned her BFA in art photography. And I heard that she worked before with Vogue magazine. And so she will be joining us as well for sharing her master's in arts and education from Harvard University. She is the curator and she's been here for almost 2 weeks now, Miss Jacqueline Reyes. Yeah. And then we have the person that you have to look forward to tomorrow, because she will be teaching us what she learned about how to take care of the textiles that we are using because she is a climate activist and at the same time a textile artist, whose work centers on reuse, upcycling, and waste mitigation. With a background in costume technology on Broadway in New York City, we have her bringing the deep understanding of textiles and sewing to her work. She holds a master's degree in sustainability and currently works with Tersus Solutions, where the supports of textile waste reduction through innovative cleaning and repair services is being done. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Miss Abby Manwiller. I hope I pronounced that very well, Abby. Okay, thank you. You know, I got a hard time thinking of how she can be here in Marawi because of her exotic face for all of us. Not much with our Phil-Am friends because for her, she's so American, right? Yeah, but you are being welcomed anyway with love. All right, thank you, Abby. And a cultural bearer also will be joining her tomorrow for the indigenous communities of Panay Bukidnon. So ladies and gentlemen, he will be giving us the crafting of the traditional instruments and also the different textile use or the embroidery from Panay Bukidnon. He's also a very good researcher for the CAPI's, cultural researcher for CAPI's Provincial Indigenous Peoples Mandatory Representative. Please help me welcome Mr. Renel Lavilla. Oh, there you go. I was looking for your red scarf. All right. And I would not like to take the limelight from the MC in introducing the next person I'm about to introduce, because she will be introduced later exhaustively by the MC. But of course, the person who will be showing us her grace and her passion today is, of course, we have here Marion Aguas over here. Just say hi. The final introduction is to be given to us later. Yes. And of course, from New York University in Abu Dhabi, he just tag along. A tag-along guy. No, just kidding. But he's here for the Ukay initiative as well to document this, because he's a very good documentary artist and a filmmaker by profession. We have here Jam over there. Oh, say hi to Jam. There. Ayaw niya nang masali siya sa because he wanted to be just behind the scenes. So these are the people who will be joining us in the Ukay initiative from today, tomorrow, and the Artist Forum, and we will all be watching them Cultural Heritage Center. Di tano di kambagbagri si isagyang kaay Ranao Cultural Heritage. No? Oda agyang kaay mga sutigiran na oda asima na daswa na gid mamuy di taro di kasima-sima ako mga ipukidi iranon psuan niran ka uba kalo-kalo na susima na maswatano na sami deman sumranaw kapkalawanan yan. Nalawanan tanon ng bagbagran tano ay kaantanong mo maswa so mga initiatives for the world why not? In the future, tayo naman ang pumunta in New York, di ba? So, jazakallah for everyone. Please enjoy the rest of the day. And of course, again, thank you to the OIPP Facebook Live crew and also to everyone who are here and the models who are here. So beautiful today. Jazakallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. And welcome.
All right, thank you. Ang iba talaga kapag si Ma'am Sor ang nag-introduce. Dahil parang pati tayo na-validate ang pang-uukay natin, correct? I hope hindi lang yon ang mangyayari today because of course, these days are really filled with knowledge gaining and not just your typical one at that. It's because our skills will also be put to a test later on because a workshop session is underway. So let's go ahead and meet who among our guests will be spicing up our day one this week-long event. So, ayan, parang excited na yung mga guests natin dito. How about our participants? Excited na ba kayo dyan? Ay, parang hindi excited. Excited na ba kayo? Correct. Dapat lang. Because of course, hindi natin araw-araw makukuha ang ganitong experience. Of course. So, Marion Aguas. Wait a minute. Because my script is Cheres. Oh my gosh. Sorry, everyone. I'm visually impaired, so I'm having a difficult time reading my phone. Anyways, Marion Aguas is a trans-Filipino photographer and filmmaker based in Brooklyn, New York. He cut his teeth in the streets documenting and organizing with the Filipino National Democratic Movement and the WOW or WOW Project, a women, queer, and trans-led community initiative that uses art and activism to protect NYC Chinatown's culture. In 2017, he started a portrait project of queer Asian Americans, which inevitably led him into the nightlife and drag scenes in New York. Informed by his own experience as a trans person of color, Marion uses his camera to immortalize queer joy as a form of liberation. Ladies and gentlemen, Marion Aguas.
Hello. Nice to meet everyone. I'm very honored that you chose to come here all dressed up on a holiday pa. So thank you for coming. My name is Marion. So I have actually a master's in fashion photography, also from School of Visual Arts. But my background actually is I am a fourth generation photographer, Phil-Am. I am proudly, oh, you can leave it on the first slide for now. I am proudly my family's from Florida Blanca, and my Lola's dad started a photo studio there, and then my Lola, and then my dad brought the practice to the US. And so my background was from learning from we're the typical family, the kids are the models, we're the photos that you see in the window when he's selling his services. So that is really where I learned really how to use a camera and where I learned how to love photography. But in New York now, I mostly do fashion photography, I portraits, and I use it as a way to document my life and my friends who I think are, I love my friends, I love my family, and I honestly love being Filipino. And maybe it's obvious to you because you're in the Philippines, but in the US, especially in New York, Filipino culture is not highlighted. Sometimes we're not very known. It's even hard to find Filipinos abroad. You know, like it took me actually a long time. Maybe I wasn't really until 27 or whatever until I really found Filipinos that I was able to really create community with. And so the way I did that actually photography. So I moved to New York and I realized I don't really have any Filipino friends. I don't have like, of course I have my family, but I don't really have, you know, like extended family like that. So I took my camera and I just started messaging people, hey, take pictures with me, hey, take pictures with me, I'm doing this program, let's meet. And so actually the people I met from those beginning sessions. Some of those are now my longest and closest friends. And now that's actually how I met Ezra and Jacqueline. And that's really how I met so many of the people that I now consider my extended family. Because, you know, in Filipino culture, you don't just have your immediate family, kind of everyone becomes your family, right? So I use my camera to build that for myself, because that's how I grew up in LA, and so that's what I wanted for myself in New York. So I really, this is a photo that's actually in the exhibit, so I will talk a little bit more about how I made the photos in the exhibit during the artist talk, but I can do a short, maybe intro here as like an intro to fashion photography. So the photo shoot, Jacqueline and Ezra contacted me and said, oh, we have these clothes, these ukay-ukay clothes that were embroidered by the Panay Bukidnon people, Renel's people, and so they said, we want to really have a photo shoot that highlights the clothes. And so I was like, perfect. I love fashion. I love, this is in the area of a high Filipino concentration in Queens called Little Manila, Queens. And so I was like, let's do it there. And so, yeah, that's why it showcases the clothes. I wanted to do it in collaboration with the Panay Bukidnon people, so it does highlight some of their storytelling. What I love about fashion photography actually is, well, I love clothing, that's my vice. So of course, you take pictures of what you like. So I love clothing, and then I also love telling stories. And I think that fashion photography allows you to tell stories because what you wear, even if you don't think about it on the day-to-day, but if you really start to think about it, what you wear and how you present yourself out into the world is actually, it says a lot about who you are, and you can really tell stories of people. For example, what you're wearing right now, like, I don't see that in New York, but you just coming here all dressed up shows me who you are, and so you're able to share yourself through photos out into the world. So I'm actually really excited about this workshop because it's literally like the best part, I think, of fashion photography. So I think maybe next slide, or maybe 2 slides pa. One more? Or okay lang. I'm actually curious, how many people here take photos? Who likes to take photos? Let's do camera first. Camera first. If you have a camera, can you raise your hands? Okay. Okay, a few of you, great. How many of you likes to take pictures even on the phone? May mahilig kayo? Yes, everyone. So what's really cool now, I think, is that photography is accessible to everybody actually now. And I think that's really cool. And then, and it's just now we can learn some tips and tricks because it's already accessible, but I can maybe show some compositional techniques, and then when we go outside, just different ways that you can maybe elevate or really like complete and tell a story of what you want. Because as a photographer, like I said, your power is you can get people to do what you want, which is really nice. It's a way for you, if you want to talk to someone, if you want to contact somebody, you can easily say, hi, I'm a photographer, I want to meet you, I love, you know, prompt them up a little bit. I love your whatever project. I really want to come. I really want to see you're playing a show. I would love to take photos. Ayun, naka-free ticket ka na sa show, and then you offer the photos later. But you know, it's like a gateway. It opens the door to a lot of people that you can meet as a photographer, which is, again, that is how I started, and that's what I did in New York. So we can maybe turn. So first things first, what makes a beautiful photo? I actually just quickly, maybe we can spend 2 minutes if you have your phones on you. May phone ba kayo? I don't know who has pockets or whatever. If you just want to maybe look through your phone and show your neighbor like, oh, I like this photo that I took, and then maybe share like, why do you like it? Konting warm up. Do you have your, yeah. Kahit food, kahit like anything, the sunset, or if you saw something on your walk, if you had anything, if you want to see. And then maybe think about, why do you like it? Is it colorful? Is it like delicious looking, the food? Like, what about it? Okay, share. Share muna. Is there something that you liked? Yeah? Yeah, on your neighbor or even if someone you didn't talk to before, you can share. Meron ba? What did you take recently? I can see some of you are giggling. What pictures did you take recently? Selfie, ano, right? Like what are the kinds of pictures you take on your phone? Family group photo, selfie, food photo, magaganon. Nature, mahilig sa nature. Who has a nature picture? Ayan, okay. And then who has maybe a picture of their friends where if you're going out? Ayan, oh yes, nice. Okay, picture of friends, natatawa. Yes, okay. So maybe think about why did you like that photo and then we'll make them better, right? Okay, so next slide actually. So another question I actually also wanted for us to think about is what do you find beautiful? Because fashion photography for me, it really lets you control and create and showcase what you think is beautiful. So communications and media maybe, and maybe even journalism. Can I see who's there? So in comms, right, you are, how do I say this? You learn let's say, maybe you learned this in school, I'm not sure. But media controls what is defined as beautiful, right? There's almost like a social idea of what is considered beautiful, whether or not you think it's beautiful, or sometimes it affects what we believe is beautiful. So in the US, like I said, there's not a lot of Filipinos. Mostly the beauty standards in the US is if you are very white, if you are skinny, if you are tall, all of those things are not, does not equate a Filipino person, right? So that I struggled with that actually when I was in school. So in fashion photography school, we were given these really skinny models and the clothes, I didn't really like them, and they would come into the studio and I was like bored. I was like, oh my God, I'm not inspired, like what am I doing? So I really chose, okay, I'm actually gonna just focus on my own community, I'm gonna focus on my friends, I'm gonna focus on people who are beautiful to me. Even if they don't wanna see it, this is what I'm gonna do for me and my friends, and I wanna create my own world for us. And so that was really powerful to me, and I think that's the power of fashion photography. So I want you to consider that, like, what do you find beautiful outside of what people tell you or outside of what you know? I know that, like, from what I hear, like, maybe the standards are like Manila standards, but you know, you're here, right? So what is actually more beautiful here? I think what everyone is doing today is really beautiful. I think everything that we saw, we went sightseeing yesterday, I would love to take pictures of that, you know? So really, like, think about it even when you go home, not just today, like, what do you want to focus on? Because if you're the photographer, you are in charge of that, and you are showing your world to other people. So you can, you know, create your narrative, you can change that, and then hopefully, if your photos are beautiful enough, then they'll start listening to you. You have the power to also maybe change what these standards are, that is in your control. So that is something to think about. But yeah, I can maybe share some composition techniques next. So all of these next slides are photos that I've taken in New York as we continue to think about these questions. So this is all work that I have done since 2017, and then they're involved in different composition techniques. So we'll talk about them. So we will do later when we're gonna take pictures of everyone, there's almost gonna be like a scavenger hunt for all these different techniques of how I want everyone to like take them, these techniques, and then the best of the photos will be a part of our exhibit also. So a little challenge. Okay, so maybe next slide. So these are portraits, right? Does anyone know what a portrait is? Audience participation. Portrait, how do you define portrait? Meron. Oh, yes. May nag-raise? Nag-raise ka ng kamay? How do we define, who can define portrait? Oh, shy. Wag na shy. We're gonna be so involved with each other later. Anybody? Okay, yes. Yeah. Yeah, if you focus on one in the subject, okay, yeah. What do you think is like common of these two are both portraits, right? So what do we find is similar to these? Yeah. Ha. Sino? I'm here. Ano, ikaw? Nakatayo? Okay, pwedeng nakatayo. True. What else do we notice? Rectangular position, yes. And then I also heard people, humans, yes. So what we heard so far, compositionally, rectangular, true. And then naka-stand up, yes, that is also true. And then ano pang sinabi? Humans, naka-vertical, you can see. Yes, vertical is true. Because when something is horizontal, it's actually called landscape photo. So these are portraits, right? They are people, they are pictures of people, subject. They usually you're trying to show like the picture of a person to show a person. And why it relates to fashion photography is because the clothing that a person wears is involved in a portrait. And that's what I mean. You can tell, you can show a lot through what a person is wearing. We take it for granted, but if I take a picture of me, for example, versus someone, si Kuya, what are you? Sir Fahad, yes. So if we stand next to each other and we take pictures next to each other, you can already tell we're from different maybe places, we're different people, we're different status, we're different tribe, we're different culture, right? So just from the clothes that we wear, you can see that once you take a picture. So these portraits are actually, again, in the included in the artist talk, so I can tell more about that. But so yeah, so a portrait is a person, they are the center and the focal point of the photo, and it kind of, you're trying to tell a little bit of story about them. Either their clothing, ayun, nagigitara, right? This one is not a musician, this one is a musician. Maybe this one, meron mga parol, so maybe she's Christmas or something related. She took a picture during the holiday. So these are all the elements that are considered in the portrait that we can put together. Any questions so far? Okay, next slide. So there's also group photos, which I think will be fun because there's so many in the dance troupe, so I think a group photo is good. So I included these as a different way of putting people together. So when I love doing group photos, personally. And so the one in the middle is a group photo, but what are maybe some differences that you see between the two of them? If we can poll, let's look. Ate Sor said, horizontal, Ma'am Sor said, there's one horizontal, there's one vertical, true. Ano pa? Huh? I picture is it is this.
The picture is like that.
Which one? This one?
Yes, that
Yeah.
one. Because she's showing leadership or power, some kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yes, and the two people is looking at her, while the other one is they're just like bonding.
Yeah. Right. That's really cool interpretation. Yeah. That's true. This is a collective that I took photos of, and they're all friends. Versus this one, you're right. There's one person in power, and they're looking at her. So that's a different way to compose the shot, right? So if we're all sama-sama na friends, na family photo lang tayo, a good way to get them all to, if you're directing the photo, you're taking the picture, you're taking a group photo, people won't really know what to do. It's your job to get them to take a good photo. You could say, compress, compress, oh, we like each other, okay, smile. And then when you see the photo later, everyone's gonna be happy actually, and then it will be a good group photo. So I know they're serious because in New York, everyone's serious. But if you're taking a good group photo where you want it to be happy, you have to also be a little like comedic, or you have them compress. You will be in charge of how it's going to look, right? So versus this one, when I directed this one, I really said, okay, Valeria in the middle, you're gonna look at me, and then both of those two, you look at Valeria. And so when the picture's done, that's what holds the gaze, right? So that's your job as the photographer, what you like. And that's why, again, I ask you, like, what do you find beautiful? What do you want to see? You are in control of the photo. You're in control of the whole thing, right? So even if you're shy and you just want to take photos of the performance, that's fine too, actually. So if you don't want to direct, you don't want to talk, you can be in the sidelines, but you can still compose it in a good way. Okay, so group photo. Okay, next. There we will also take action shots since we are very blessed to have the dance troupe here. It's a good opportunity to practice in action. So maybe if you can perform even a little bit for us, and then we can practice taking photos of you. Action shot is more like candid, or they're in motion. So if you, whoever has a camera here, actually, I took this. They're a lion dancer in Chinatown. You can see they're wearing a mask. So actually this was during 2021 when people were still wearing masks during COVID. So that's another, you can see that in the story, right? Or in the photo. It's not very clear, but there's a street sign there. I think this is on Mott Street in New York. So there are a lot of components. And if you have a flash on your camera, you can freeze motion. So that's how you can see there's some blurry parts, that's them moving. But once you use flash actually on your cameras, then you can freeze the moment and it looks kind of cool. So that is action shot. And then I hope you're paying attention because this is what we're gonna take later. Okay, and then I think I have another example of an action shot. Yeah, so this is also with my Chinatown work that I do. So this is another one where, you know, you can ask people, oh, takbo kayo dyan, and then I'm gonna take a picture. You know, maybe you have a friend that you can ask for a favor. Like I said, a lot of these shots I started with my friends. So you just say, come with me please, I want to practice, and then I'll just buy you pizza later or whatever. You know, like I'll buy you, mag-beer tayo later, I'll buy you, and then just please practice with me. So that's, you ask your friends, and I saw earlier, naman friends naman kayo. So you can practice with each other until you feel confident in what you're doing. So yeah, and I like this one too in terms of style. I didn't ask them to come, but I love that they ended up matching actually, so the colors of their clothing. Sometimes if you practice with your friends and then you just say, oh, can you wear red? So then you're matching. Or can you wear, you know that there's gonna be green. Red and black look good against green. So you say, oh, can you wear black or red? So then the photos will look kind of nice. So you just ask a little bit like that, and then that will help kind of, your photos will tie together. Okay, next. Okay, so this is also, we're gonna do this too, they're detail shots. What do we see here on the detail shots? If we can, audience. Yung hindi pa nakasalita. Bagong tao. Anybody? What do we see? Anything, what do we see in the photos? Huh? Accessories, yeah. Ano pa? On details, yes. So on the person on the left, who do you think, what kind of person do you think that is on the left? Is she young? Is it old? Do we even know if it's a she or a no? Do you think, who do we think? Huh? Sexy sabi, yes, okay. Ano pa? Stylish, okay, yeah, stylish. They are very stylish, that's my friend. almost like punk. It's giving like punk, rock star, like that, right? So you can see that through just the details of their thing. And then what about the one on the right? Ha? Bonga, yeah. That's my friend. She the rhinestones one by one on the dress, and she had a performance that I took photos of. But the detail is to see the garment, right? So how will you, can I ask someone to come from one of the troupe? Ikaw yung, ikaw. Yeah. Go. So, you can just be here, yeah, you don't have to come all the way up. So if we were to take detailed shots of this, what would you take to highlight the, ano? Oh, the necklace, okay. Props, okay. Ano pa? The which one? The wings, is this wings? Oh, weaves, the fabric, yes, true. That's good. Ako pa, maybe the earrings or the bandana, you can do a nice shape on the side. It doesn't even have to be straight, diba? So these are some detailed shots that it's not different from the portrait where you're really focusing on the person, but you're just focusing more on the details. And it's almost like an additional one of the, okay, thank you. Okay, next. I nakat off you. It's no. You can go next slide, but it's like not showing the whole. It's not showing the whole slide on the next slide. Can it be smaller? There's words on the top that says rule of thirds. So these are more composition techniques now that we're gonna talk about. Has anyone taken composition in photography? So I'm seeing some nods from the comms. Kayo rin? So you know the rule of thirds. Who knows the rule of thirds here? Wow, ang dami na. Okay, so thirds. Does some Okay, yes. Yes, MC.
According to what I learned,
Yeah.
since the focus of the audience is mostly going to go to the third point.
Yeah.
Yeah, third point. So usually when you take a picture, it would be best if you position them in those thirds.
True.
That's where you're going to see the subject more.
Yes, okay, correct. Yes, so I'm not sure the science behind it, but us humans with our eyes and our brains, when we see a photo, we gravitate towards the rule of thirds. So if you can divide a photo up into almost 9 actually. It's helpful for composition if you place the subject on either one of the lines. So if you see here, my subject here is you're looking on the right. And because she's placed on the right-hand side, you know she's walking to the left, actually. So like the other portraits, it's very central, it's very strong. There's no movement, they're very still because they're in the middle. But if you want to add movement, let's say a dancer is going to be dancing from right to left, or maybe they're looking at each other on the thing, or they're gonna travel across the stage, you can place them in a different position on the thing, on the frame, using the rule of thirds, so that you're adding movement also into the photo. And whatever isn't the subject is considered negative space. So I think on your phones, actually, if you can add the settings, if you want, but sometimes, if you want or don't want, but sometimes it's helpful, you can add the settings on your phone to actually include the grid. And that's what the grid is for, is so that you can have better composition on your photos. They will just add a little more, will just be better composed, a little more professional, and it will be more legible for your audience. So, okay. Next photo. So these are also other portraits with the rule of thirds. So this is more in the middle. I know a lot of my friends I have a lot of friends who are drag artists, so that's what I take a lot of photos of when I see them perform in New York. I go and that's what I take photos of. They are my dance troupe, my drag friends. Okay, next photo. So another compositional technique is leading lines. Has anyone learned that as well? Okay, yes. Do you want to share?
Leading lines is when you want to have a focus on a certain element or subject.
Yeah.
You use the environment to point towards this person. So for example, in an area in Marawi Ground Zero, there's like a road that's straight ahead to the lake. And if you want to focus on the lake, you use that environment to really focus on the person, leading the eyes of the people to the subject.
Okay, then let me, so everyone can hear. So leading lines, which is tama, or like exactly correct, perfect explanation, is you use the environment to create lines to lead the eyes towards one single focus. So you're using your environment as part of the photo, again, so that there's a focus. And there was an example that you use at ground zero. So there's a road. Did you say there's like a road where you can see the lake in the background and then almost like a pathway or a street, sinabi mo? And so you put the person in the middle with the lake in the background, and then the street itself will actually create lines so that your person will be focused in the middle. So your eye is drawn there. So this is also another photo that's part of the exhibit, Ren, so you can see it printed. But I drew the leading lines for you, so of course, obviously, it looks like this one on the left. There's no lines. But I used this is a sari store in New York, our what is it called? Phil-Am Mart, actually, in Queens. And so this is a place where we can get Filipino products. And I drew the lines for you, and that's why this photo, it really leads you to look at her. She's supposed to be a princess. And so it strengthens the photo. So if you really want someone to be strong in the middle, you use those. A common leading line is a street, or if there's a staircase, you can use the kind of diagonal of a staircase. You can use the streets, a coastline, yeah, stuff like that. We can practice also when we go outside. So these are the things we can practice with our beautiful models also. But yeah, okay, next. This is another example of leading lines. So again, this is my friend, the same one who was wearing the bonga dress. And so these lines also, he's in the center, right? But these lines all either lead, they're both, actually, it's not necessarily leading to it, but they're all perpendicular to him. And he's the straight one, right? So he's strongly in the middle, very straight. But then the other lines are all at 45-degree angles. So then in the end, it leads you to him in the middle, and he looks very strong, very center, while everything is kind of working around him. So that's another way to use leading lines. And like you said, it's the environment that offers the lines. So that's not in your control, but you can place whoever you want. Sometimes especially on your phone, you can take a picture on your phone without a person first, and then you can see, oh, this is nice. And then you get your friend, okay, okay, next. Who learned frame within a frame? Natutunan, did you learn that also? Who else? My participants, my students. Does anyone want to share? Anybody? O nag-google kayo? Okay lang. Anybody? Like, what do we see here? What do we think? Well, actually, maybe we'll just ask first. What do we see? What's the frame? So what is one frame and what's the second frame, do we think, in this photo? Yeah, so the petals is one frame. And the person who is laying down. Yeah. We're focusing on her, right? And then the petals are the frame. Actually, the other frame is just the photo. Because the photo is the one frame. And then the frame within a frame is the petals. So it adds kind of another layer of what you can see in the photo. So again, this is just my friend. I just said, hey, let's take pictures, and then I offered the friends after. So use your friends. Mag-collaborate kayo sa mga kaibigan niyo. Okay, and then next, there's another example. So ito pa, so there are other shapes that a frame can be. So a frame can be a circle also, actually. So you can use other things, and I love playing with mirrors and reflections because a mirror will be a square or a circle. So you can do cool things in the mirror, or if you're getting ready, I love BTS photos. So if while you're getting ready, you can do really cool compositions with the mirrors in your photos. So that's another one. Okay, next. This one's obvious, symmetry. So what do we see here? If someone wants to participate. What do you like? What do you see and what do you like about the photo, maybe? I haven't heard from this group here. Anybody? Yeah. So there's two people evenly distributed in the photo. And then, is there anything that is asymmetrical too, though? That you can play with symmetry. You can also play with asymmetry. So what isn't the same that I love in this photo? The hands are different. Yeah. And there's only one hand on the bottom, right? So it's almost like you don't know whose hands are which, actually, which is why I love this photo so much, because they're almost like two hands, but you don't know which one is whose hands. So you can play with something like that. But symmetry is playing with the balance of the sides, and you can break the rule if you want for fun, or different elements of that. Next slide. Ito pa, this is also another photo in the exhibit that we did. What is the symmetry that we see here? Or maybe, and what is symmetrical and what is not symmetrical na nakikita natin? Are asymmetrical. Yeah, or maybe we can divide it into four even, the symmetry of the top and the bottom, and then there's a lot of actually quadrants to this photo. The picture frame is very symmetrical in the middle. Yes, I really did that on purpose. That's calculated, yes. The windows are symmetrical, yes. Which one? The positions are symmetrical or asymmetrical? Symmetrical, yeah. So it's really, what is the vibe of this photo? What is it, what do you get from it? What's the story kind of the photo that you can see? They're feuding, yes, correct, yes. Ano pa? Different cultures, yes, correct, yes. And so we can tell that story actually with the symmetry, right? So if you're feuding, if you're feuding, I'm fighting with you, there's gonna be one person on one side versus another person on another side. So visually, you can use symmetry to tell that story. And that's actually a correct interpretation, they are feuding. But it's like one side versus another side because of their clothes, right? So that's also kind of a choice that we made. Okay, next. And then the last, I think this is the last one. The last technique is filling the frame. So all the other photos that there was some negative space around the subject. This one, there's no negative space. It's like their whole face is in the frame. Even this one, there's no border, right? There's no background, there's no border. It's really their whole face. And so that's another technique. It's really intense. It's very close up, so that it almost shows that this person is very close to you, or you made them feel very comfortable so you can get that close to somebody, and so it can add a dimension to your photos. Okay, I think that's the it. Meron pa ba? Oh yeah, so those are the different composition techniques that I wanted to share. And what's cool about fashion photography too is the photo, it's not just one photo existing as one actually. Usually fashion photos, when you see them in a magazine, they're displayed as a group. So there you use these different techniques to create almost like different ones. So you'll take a portrait, let's say one standing up like this, but then you get also the details, and then you get just their makeup, and then you get them like talking to somebody. So they work together to create one story, which is also why fashion photography can be fun, because it's not just one at a time. It's like you do all of them together in a different way. So this is something I wanted to think about. What kind of beauty do you want to observe today? Because I will be looking at the photos, and I am really learning all about your cultures almost for the first time actually, because I've never interacted with everyone here in Mindanao and your the clothes that you're wearing. So I know maybe you're used to seeing it, but try and think about it a different way. What do you really like? Do you like the patterns, or the beads, the way the beads move, how shiny, you know, the embroidery or the beading, or the way that it looks? Kind of really think about what you think is beautiful, so that I would actually like to know what you like about your own fashions or your own clothing. And then, like I said, we will be displaying the best 20 photos in the exhibit also. Does anyone have any questions? May questions ba? About anything? Of photography related? Or anything? Anybody? Wala? Well, explain na ba? We have a printout of I called it a scavenger hunt naman. So we'll have a printout. And then I think the next slide is the QR code. Before we divide into groups, maybe I'll ask how we should divide. So maybe the first thing is we can have a performance first. Okay lang? Bakit na shy? But yeah, that's my presentation, so thank you. I really want to see them, so please submit the photos, and then include your name, or make sure that there's a name portion in the forms, right? So then we will know who submitted what photos, and then we will include it in the exhibit. And so now, hopefully, we can take beautiful photos of everyone and then make them jealous, whoever didn't come here. You say, sayang, that's why you should have come. And then we can do that. But maybe first we'll do performance, so we can take pictures first here on the stage, and then we'll go outside because it's not raining, I can see. It's sunny. Is there performers ready? Even just a short one, a short performance, and then we can all come. Who's gonna be taking photos of the performance actually? All of us. Okay, so photographers, stand up now. We're ready. And then performers also stand up now, so we have our models. Music na lang muna? Or? Yeah, let's do an actual performance, and we can practice the action shot so that they're moving. So that's a nice warm-up actually, because if you're feeling shy, first, because as a director, sometimes it's kind of it can be a little nerve-wracking to start directing right away. So it's nice to warm up where someone is already performing and you don't have to think too much. You can start taking pictures. Oh, let's turn on the lights then. I think the lights are for the performers. Yeah. Yeah. Ah, okay. And then we're gonna do that outside too, or will they be able to dance a little? Wow. Okay. Maybe instead of the QR code as the back, because it's not cute, let's put up the first slide as the background. Naka-on lang to, ha? So photographers, get ready. They're gonna come one by one, and so you're gonna be ready. Find your. Let me talk. Your privilege as a photographer is you can be anywhere you want. You, as a performer, you can only be on stage. As an audience member, you're stuck in your chair. As a photographer, you have the freedom to move wherever you want, and that's why I like performance photography. While they're performing, you can say, "Excuse me, I'm a photographer, you need to be in front." So the photographers should come up front to capture what you want and your opportunity. You can really move up front to take photos. So you don't have to zoom. Don't rely on your zoom. You should get used to putting yourself in the front. Okay lang. I know, I want. Wow. Naiyak pa ako. I'm so honored that you performed. Naiyak ako. That was so beautiful. Ang bilis lang. I'm very emotional. So let's go outside and do that. So did we see, I already saw some that poses, right? What's really cool with the dance troupe is they already know how to pose kasi naka-choreograph na kayo. So like for example, yung dalawa kayo, cool pose, you say, oh, can you do the one where you're standing on top of each other and then you can get a pose? Or like your dance was yung mga ganon. Good, we can take more. So you can ask them, oh, what's the story? If you're the photographer, what's the story of your, show us one pose. If you remember one that you like, then you go up to them and say, oh, can you do this one? And then you create a nice backdrop where we're gonna go to the, ano yun? The golf, or even around campus, there's the flags are up right now. Ma'am Sor said they're not always up. And then we can do the same with everyone who got dressed up. So I know everyone got dressed up today, so we can use the same techniques to pose and do, sige. Okay, one more performance. And just remember the different choreos that you really like. I love the hand movements of the one, so you can tell them, oh, I really like this, let's take picture of like that, and then you can get the nice poses that they already know. So that's the benefit of a dance troupe already. They already know what to do. And then you can start directing your friends. It's a little harder, but then you can really be like, okay, like this, or a little like this. That's just the truth. But let's do one more. Thank you so much. I'm so honored. Wow. Okay, yes.
Okay, tingin dito. Aura. Serious look. Serious look. Ayan. And then smile. Okay, let's have the old guy. Yay. And then we go. Sina Abby, sina Marion, Jacqueline, Ezra, and the directors, Rally. Okay, as if you know each other closer. Yes, yes. Yes. Put Abby at the center because I will let you look at Abby later. Abby naman. Yan. That's it.
Closer, closer.
Okay, closer. Rally closer. Hey, princess. Alright, and now look at Abby.
Baka pwede sumali si Ma'am Sol, no?
Isali tayo doon.
Okay, let's look at the photograph. Oh, I'm here. Oh, isa pa. Dito kayo sa gitna. Sama sa iyo.
Okay, now, tayo down. ang pupwestuhan yung darangan team sa labas. And then one pwesto din yung sining pananadom sa labas. We need the natural lighting. So hanap kayo ng darangan na saan kayo pupwesto for the pictorial photo shoot. And then darangan one space din kung saan nyo gusto doon sa labas. Gusto niya natural lighting naman. So hanap tayo sa labas. And then the photographers, we will, yes, pinakalabas. And then we will count 1, 2, 1, 2 sa ating mga photographers.
Dito na. Ate.
Let's count 1, 2, 1, 2. Si Mranaw Hijab, doon natin isali sa kay Ali, sa pananadom. And then the others na naka Maria Clara kanina, 1, 2, 1, 2. Ayan, meron ng mga naka-distribute ng mga dalawa. Yes. And then, let's have dalawa. 1, 2, 1, 2 tayo, counting. Or you choose your models. They can go there, anywhere.
Sige na. Okay, but I wanna also take pictures of the so one group. They can go anywhere.
Yeah, so kahit na sino daw na true pang gusto niyong picturean. Basta importante you have the guide with you for the uploading of the photos later. Okay. Good luck everyone. The Facebook Live is following you there, so please do, because kayo din ay kasama sa subject namin sa Facebook Live, yung mga photographers. So we are looking at you too. Go ahead.